Okay, Basma, I wanted to give you some feedback for your PowerPoint. I'm going to be focusing on things that should be improved. So obviously, I'm letting you know that yes, you did a great job. Yes, there are a lot of great elements about this PowerPoint, but I'm going to let you know what you can actually fix to have a stronger presentation come Monday. Okay, so first of all, with your title, you want to make sure that your capitalization is consistent. So the word create here should really have a capital because all the rest of your title does. There is a spelling mistake here for grade. It should be Grade, just so that it doesn't look like a different word, because at this point it looks like grad, as in the short form of graduate. So just be careful with that. Your agenda looks good. As I mentioned during class, you did a really good job describing each section and what you're going to do during each part. So that was very strong. With your introduction, again, you had a lot of terminology that you were describing, and you described a lot of the experiences that you had based on the classroom that you visited. So this was really good. I feel that your examples were strong, but try to not pause quite as much during the the examples. The pausing, as I'm doing now, makes it seem as if you're not exactly certain of what happened. So just be careful with those elements. Let's see. Okay, so here's the next slide for researcher background. You discussed where you got your bachelor degree, and you mentioned that you are applying for your master's degree as well. So you can put that as a second bullet point so that it's just up on the screen, that you're applying for it, and what you hope to do with those degrees, and link these elements to how library and information science has led you to be interested in education, and the literacy class that you attended perhaps would be a good connection point. In terms of just spelling and formatting, science here should really have a capital S because it is the information science department or program. So make sure that your capitalization is done correctly. For your significance slide, again, you gave a good indication of how your research is significant and how just in general working with students in a dynamic way can really help them excel and allow them to become better students and better learners through the teaching process. So this was a very strong slide, and you worked really well with looking at the verbs. You've got recognize, enhance, give, strengthen. So it's a very consistent slide. For your literature review, your description was really good, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more information on the slide, and making sure to check that if you're saying 2 grades, this should actually be plural. And I think this should be mixing, is that right? Not maxing. So you want to be sure that you're just checking over your slide to make sure that you're saying what you actually intend to say and your message is clear. In addition, you need to have citations on the slide as if this were a paragraph. So in brackets here, in brackets you should have the author's name, comma, the date, and then another bracket to close it off, exactly as if this were a paragraph. Same thing here. If this is from your experience, in brackets you can say class visit, or you could list the teacher's name, so his last name, comma, and then just the year that you visited the classroom in, which would be 2010, as where you got that experience from. So don't be shy about using sources such as your classroom visit and the experiences and discussions you had with the teacher. And really do add a little bit more to this slide because it is a little bit empty. And you did do a really good job of explaining it, but it would be nice to have some additional elements on the slide as well. Your methodology was quite clear. You said which school you visited. You want to make sure that your capitalization is accurate. So middle and school, both are parts of the school name, so they should be capitalized. You might want to say, how often you visited and which specific classes you saw. So I know that you witnessed the literacy class. Were there any other classes that you watched or observed? Put those elements here as well, and give any other indication. Did you take notes while you were in the class? I know that you took pictures because we saw those, but did you gather any handouts? What else did you find as artifacts from your visit here? That would be interesting to have included on the methodology slide itself. And also you might consider adding some information to the discussion that way. Obviously the pictures are great. It's nice to have you talk about that. I don't really have anything to add to this particular slide. It's nice to see what the school looked like from the outside. Many people here haven't really seen a school, and especially haven't seen a classroom. So being able to see what this layout of a classroom looks like was a really excellent idea, and your description of this was quite strong as well. I would maybe talk about, while you're describing this, where the teacher usually stands. Like, does he walk around? Does he move around? Does he allow the children to move around as well? Or are they always seated in this position? Does he move the desks around? Because adding to a group dynamic often takes the place, is shown or demonstrated through different types of grouping. So this is one classroom layout. Do you know or did you witness any other layouts, or was this just for the literacy class? Something to consider. Your outcomes were great. Your descriptions were very good. When you were talking, you said that the students were very confidence. Confidence is a noun. What you had on the screen is the adjective here. The students became confident and they are quick at absorbing information, not for information. You can take that out. And also remember that the word leadership is a noun, so it can only be used in nouns. So students are leaders, they are not leadership. You can't say students are leadership or you can't say students are leadership. You need to say they are leaders or become leaders. The two noun forms are different. Leadership is the ability to lead, having those characteristics, and being a leader is actually a position. So be careful with just the words themselves. And you did a good job of describing how they become more creative and how it impacts their scores. So again, your slide is quite consistent and well organized. Your references were very good. I'm glad that you talked about which one you thought was the best one. Please make sure that if you are using books that you use the proper format. So you've got author's title, you've got the title of the book. A handbook for teachers is actually part of the title, so it shouldn't be italicized. And for books, you also need the publishing information, so where it was published, and so the city or country that it was published in, as well as the actual name of the publisher. So try to have as full a reference as possible. And having the teacher's name on this page as one of your references, because you did go to see him, would be very good as well. An additional slide that you might want to have after this one is a question and answer page, or a thank you page where you take questions and answers so that you can properly conclude your presentation. Orally, you did a very good job of concluding it, so that wasn't a problem. But just so that people have something on the screen that's not just your references. In terms of your references, one more time, make sure that you're following the format. There should be a comma here, and here, and here, and here. It's last name, comma, first initial. So make sure that those are done appropriately. Check the APA style guide that we looked at. And again, overall you did an excellent job, and I am pointing out the negative elements or elements for improvement so that you can have a more dynamic presentation on Monday. Thank you very much.